Hi, I'm Kaname. In the previous video, I explained that the verb suru can be used to express the feeling or sensation you get. 頭がクラクラする。なんかドキドキする。なんかワクワクする。When I say ワクワクする, I'm simply expressing the feeling I get right now. But you can also use something suru to describe an object. For example, チクチクする refer to the feeling you get when you touch something sharp. So it's like prickling feeling, prickling pain. I can just simply describe the feeling I get right now. なんか手がチクチクする. I'm describing the feeling I get right now. But I can also use this チクチクする to describe an object that would give you the prickling feeling. 松の葉はチクチクします. Here I'm making a general statement. I'm just saying, if you touch pine needles, it's gonna give you the prickling pain. But I'm not saying I feel the prickling pain right now at this moment. I'm just making a general statement. So just bear in mind that you can also use something suru to describe an object. ザラザラ refer to the coarse surface. When you touch a coarse surface like sandpaper, when you touch it like this, then it's gonna give you the feeling of this coarseness, this friction. We say ザラザラする to describe that feeling. ザラザラする can be the sensation you get when you touch it, but ザラザラする also can be used to describe the coarse surface itself. 紙やすりはザラザラします. Or I can also say 紙やすりはザラザラしています. I know you would wonder what's the difference between ザラザラします and ザラザラしています. When I say ザラザラします, I focus on the sensation I get when I touch it. 紙やすりはザラザラします means if I touch the sandpaper, it's gonna give me the feeling of coarseness. But if I say ザラザラしています, I'm just describing the state of the sandpaper, or I'm just describing the shape of this sandpaper. I'm not talking about sensation. So when you just want to describe an object itself, what it looks like, then you can just use ています. 紙やすりはザラザラしています. On the other hand, you cannot say 松の葉はチクチクしています because チクチク is the word that only describes the feeling or sensation you get. チクチク is not a shape. You cannot describe a shape by saying チクチク. There's no shape called チクチク. So saying 松の葉はチクチクしています sounds a bit weird because チクチク is not a word that can describe the shape of an object. You can say 松の葉はチクチクします to say it gives you the prickling feeling. But you cannot say チクチクしています to describe what it looks like. So depending on the words you use, some of them are the words that describe the sensation only. Some of them, like ザラザラ, can describe the sensation you get. It also can be used to describe what surface look like. So bear in mind that there are different types of words. So now I'd like to walk you through many different onomatopoeic expressions that Japanese people use very daily. Okay, take a look at this book, Onomatopoeia 辞典. And you see it like this. You see this surface, it shines here. It reflects the light. This kind of object we usually say ツルツル. ツルツル. Object that ツルツル, you don't feel the friction, and usually it shines and it could be slippery. You can also use ツルツル to describe a frozen street that's very slippery, and the surface could be wet. But on the other hand, when you say サラサラ or すべすべ, it cannot be wet. サラサラ or すべすべ is like a piece of paper, and you rub your hand like this, Also, you don't feel the friction. It's very smooth. But one thing different from tsurutsuru is this surface doesn't shine, right? When you say sube or sara, it describes a surface that's not shining, but it's very smooth. I don't know if my skin is sara enough and I got some hair, but maybe some girls who shave their hair and put some powders there, you can feel that it's very, not oily, not sticky, but it's very smooth. You can say sube or sara to describe this kind of surface. But one thing sara is different from sube is that sara also can describe a very smooth, silky hair.
アジアンビューティー。
サラコちゃんの髪、すごくサラサラでいいな。何のシャンプー使ってるの？ By the way, when you want to use these サラサラする these words to modify another noun, you can say サラサラした髪 or サラサラしている髪. Both are fine, but usually when you use onomatopoeic expression to modify a noun, people very often use the past tense form, した form. サラサラした髪. You can also say ザラザラした髪 to describe the state of an object. I say that you can use ツルツル to describe a slippery surface. But if you want to emphasize on the shiny surface, you can also use テカテカ. They are similar, but what ツルツル emphasizes is on the slipperiness. On the other hand, what テカテカ emphasizes is on the shininess.
ちゃんと抑えたつもりでもあれめっちゃテカってる夕方画面ゆでビーチ
If you want to emphasize on the oiliness of something, if something is covered in oil, people say ギトギトする. ギトギト emphasizes that it is covered by a lot of oil. And oftentimes it becomes a little bit sticky. If you haven't cleaned up your kitchen for a year, since oil started to cover the surface and it became sticky, it becomes ギトギト.
油がこびりつき、お掃除も大変。ソフト99ギトギト油のお掃除シート。
なんかこの家のキッチンギトギトしてて気持ち悪い。ギトギトする gives a negative impression. Look at my face. ギトギトする。When I say サラサラする、すべすべ it usually used to talk about something positive. But ギトギト is like something you wouldn't want. ぬるぬる also describes the feeling you get when you touch something oily, but it's not sticky. But instead you feel uncomfortable smoothness. If your hand is covered in oil or something like mucus, you know the oily feeling? You can say ぬるぬるする. 何これ? うなぎだよ。掴んでみて。え？うなぎ？うわー、ぬるぬるする。うちヘビ飼ってんだ。ヘビ飼ってんの？私、ああいうぬるぬるした生物嫌い。If you want to emphasize on stickiness, you can say ベタベタする。Beto beto also contains some similar meaning, something sticky, but the beto beto is more used more in the situation when your hand is covered in some dirty stuff that is sticky. When you are drenched, you can say べちゃべちゃ。いやー、今日傘持っていくの忘れた。だからもうべちゃべちゃだ。By the way, when you say べちゃべちゃ, you don't say べちゃべちゃする、べちゃべちゃしている。You just say べちゃべちゃだ、べちゃべちゃです。 なんか服がべちゃべちゃで気持ちが悪い。Neba neba means something sticky and stretchy, like natto.
Neba 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 ba ba ba.
Let's call it a day.